This Masters edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Edge Boost. Get up to $750 in cash back rewards each month when you sign up at edgeboost.bet and use the promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up at Underdog Fantasy, promo code SGPN to get up to $1,000 in bonus credits.
Hey, what's up, you degenerate gamblers? This is Bill Burr, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride, baby.
Cox. He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, stacking the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
Dog. Hello, Sean. Looking very nice.
Thank you.
Very
yes.
like gentlemen.
We got our green jackets out. Let's see. Find my old unofficially licensed Masters patch there.
Oh no, totally licensed.
Yeah. Shout out. It's Masters Week on the Sports Gambling Podcast.
But also I got my Italian stuff on. So if we want to get the pizza pie out of the oven.
You should roll up to Augusta, Ryan, with like a pizza oven and just start slanging some pizza. It would blow their minds that they have very strict food prices.
Oh, it would upgrade
very
the food
strict
quality.
Food quality, very strict all around. So we will be getting into the Masters, but we have to talk a little bit about the epic collapse by your Houston Cougars. Ryan, Scott in the chat saying, Kramer, what happened? Who are we blaming for Houston's down?
Hard to blame anyone but themselves.
Yeah.
That would be the first thing. Second thing I would say, not that either team got an unfair whistle, but you can't go from letting them play to not letting them play. That obviously favored Houston in the first half, did not favor Houston in the second half, in my opinion. So I would say that's the
yeah. It was refereed as like two completely different games from the first half to the second half. I blame Kelvin Sampson. You have to draw up a better play in those last couple of possessions. Like it was just turnover after turnover. I mean, that last possession was horrific. You have to coach your guys up better in that spot.
Yeah, no, I mean, Todd Golden, the last adjustment was Todd Golden's and it worked.
Yeah.
Cause Houston looked like dog shit on. Well, but that's also Houston. So it's hard to tell if it was just them going through one of their phases. I think at the end of the day, they
sound like they're a teenager. They're just going through a turnover phase. It felt like Houston was a better team. They were dominating. And I said, even at halftime, feels like they should be up more. And you go, no, that's Houston. This is the way they win those games. And they just let Florida hang around and didn't get it done. We did have some winners though.
Yeah. And I do think that, again, not saying that it created an unfair advantage, but the foul calls certainly assisted Florida in getting back in the game. Because those empty possessions that they were now getting to the line on were just empty possessions. And I would say both ways, the whistles that they were blowing in the second half were questionable. So
yeah, no, they called it super tight in the second half, completely opposite to how they were calling it in the first half of the game. So yeah, but we did, I cashed. A shout out to me. Had a nice both teams to score under 70 points at plus 220.
Yep. Team total for Florida. Ka-ching.
That hit under 141 came in as well. And we cashed our underdog entry. So shout out to us. That was a nice awesome 3.15x over an Underdog Fantasy, promo code SGPN. So that was a nice cash and rebounding what I lost on Houston for the game.
Do we want to address the sports betting community real quick? Two topics. One, the massive hedges that people just lit fire on money tonight with.
I did see. Yeah, Kelly in Vegas said she had Florida 1,000 at 40-1, and then she hedged out.
Yeah.
With Houston +1, that must have been backbreaking.
Imagine paying how much? 20 grand?
Yeah, 21
to not get that sweat.
Yeah.
to
That's
not
the other thing.
get that sweat.
You're losing out on an incredible, epic sweat. If you didn't hedge, that could have been the greatest gambling night you've ever had in your life. And yes, guaranteeing yourself 20 grand, you get a drink, you get to relax. That's fine. But part of the price of admission, part of betting $1,000 on a 40-1 future for me is looking forward to the chance of getting to sweat it out.
Yeah. The other thing I would say is whenever the sit down happened back months ago, when everyone in the sports betting community decided to bet Florida to win the national championship, it maybe let us know next time. Completely out on that one. Maybe it's just Colby. We need a better college basketball expert. I feel like betting Florida to win the national championship was off our radar.
I mean,
completely.
that was,
but everyone's got a ticket.
Yeah.
Everyone's got a Florida ticket.
There was madness. As much as it was kind of a boring tournament for the most part, those last 3 games of the Final Four, they all came down to to the last minute or so.
Yeah, I would say
not necessarily like beautifully well played games, but certainly dramatic at the end.
I'd say worth the cost of admission, but probably no amount of money was worth being inside that building. Once again, I was even watching like the halftime show and looking at the view from their elevated desk in the pit of people. And even that was a horrible view. I'm standing on my take, Sean. I don't think there's a single good seat in the Alamo Dome to watch basketball.
Yeah, no, not a great venue. And shout out to Florida saying refs called it even on both sides.
I thought so too.
Yes, me.
I'm not saying they didn't.
No,
I'm
but to your point of saying calling the flow,
changing the flow of how they were calling the game, absolutely advantage Florida, just like it was advantage Houston in the first half. So
yeah, Clayton finally woke up, started hitting some of his shots, and Terrell in the chat pointed out, anytime I've hedged, I immediately regretted it. Yes, you might have the money, but you have to wake up every morning and look in the mirror and know how you got that money. You have to know you're a coward, so you have to live.
Yeah, hedging is the rub and tug.
How so?
Like it's an opportunity.
Okay,
it might turn out great for you, but you also know about it.
Well, also too, yeah, it's not as good as the real thing. You always walk with that shame. They can't rub or tug that out of you. The shame so that stays with you.
Stay away from the hedge.
Yeah, there
you stay away from the hedge. You never get in any trouble. You never accidentally get addicted to massages, team issued or non-team issued.
Now you're going. What are you talking to Sean Watson, Kramer? I don't know where you're going here.
I'm just talking about massages, keeping people out of trouble.
All right, let's get it going. Let's change gears and talk some Masters. Joining us on the line from the Golf Gambling Podcast, Dom Cintorino. And
excuse me.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, just sounded very Italian. I didn't know if there was, you didn't even use your hands when you were saying it.
Well, Ryan, you do the intro of Dom though.
No, it's too late now. I do have my legalized marinara shirt on. I'm dressed up for the occasion. I also on the wide shot, you can see my Italian. I did get a comment. I was on another show and the Italian flag behind me was prominently displayed, and they asked what that was about. And I just said, I'm just
Italian heritage
representing for an underrepresented community that's constantly being slandered. Anyway, welcome to the show, Dom.
Yeah, Dom. Good to see you. Good to meet you here on the show. You've joined the Golf Gambling Podcast, so great to hear you over there. And you're rocking a Masters shirt. And so we were talking before. What was it like to go and see the Masters live?
Yeah, so I went Fridays round 2023. The last time there was some significant weather, so pretty unbelievable. The whole cell phone thing is crazy, not being able to text anyone or to figure out where anyone's at if you go with a group or whatever. But just an unbelievable scene. Anyone who has the opportunity to go ever, I would highly recommend.
Wait, so were you there the day the tree came down?
No.
Okay.
That was the next day.
Oh my goodness. That was pretty wild how that did manage to not murder anyone.
Well, yeah. Also though, that is the dream, to be struck by a tree at Augusta. I mean, those are some deep pockets. My buddy, who's an attorney, when that tree came down, you could tell he was just hoping someone got hit with the branch so that he could, I mean, the settlement alone,
punitive damages.
Well, but hey, maybe I don't file a claim. Maybe I get Masters tickets for the rest of my life. Hey, why don't you just give me a locker there next to Tiger Woods? So I get a little brain damage. I'll probably do that myself anyway. So yeah, getting struck by the tree at the Masters, I think for a lot of people it might have been a dream come true. Now it's funny you mentioned the phone thing. We were talking before the show where you're like, yeah, how do you do that without the phone? And Kramer and I have been going to Vegas so long. We kind of remember some of the days, like one guy might have a cell phone. It really is crazy, especially at the Masters. It's such a big course. Like, what did you do? I assume you went with a couple other people. Like, did you go, hey, let's just stay together? Or if we get lost, we got to meet up here. How do you do that?
Yeah, we stayed together, pretty much walked the course. It was just a group of 3 of us. So we walked the course, stayed together when someone had to go to the bathroom, basically waiting outside it. But the one thing that sticks with me, I remember seeing 2 guys watching at the 3rd hole, and they were just like, our wives have been gone for over 3 hours. Like everyone around them was laughing because they can relate. Like there's no way to find each other unless you say like, hey, let's meet at the car if we get split up. But then you're talking about re-entering the gate, which you can do, and it's fairly easy. But parking goes miles and miles. So I don't know if you'd want to throw away a day waiting for someone at the car either.
That can you imagine that potential fight? Woman wanders off. Well, you left me. I left you. You were drunk and you wandered off. Next thing you know, I mean, completely. That could be a hilarious disaster. I've been to enough weddings to see how that could turn out.
Thankfully, my wife has no interest in ever going to the Masters. I don't even think the idea. If you ask my wife,
call it a hike. It's like
name one golf tournament, she would not be able to come. Maybe U.S. Open. Maybe.
Explain to her they just started letting women play.
Yeah.
So she would
love that. Yeah. I'm sure. Now, Dom, we'll talk a little big picture thing. We'll also do a segment called basically we'll call it Masters Idol, where Kramer and I will pitch you as the more seasoned expert of the guys we like, and you can either give us a hey, nice work, or that pick totally sucks. We'll get to that. But
Sean, real quick, just so you know, I hope you brought it this year.
Okay.
Because I got some bangers.
I like my team. I like my squad.
Bangers.
We got to talk big picture on some of the golfers. Let's start with Scotty Scheffler. That ravioli story is bullshit, right? The story of Scotty Scheffler injuring himself making ravioli. I mean, Dom, I'm guessing you're an Italian gentleman. How do you injure yourself? It just sounds like such a. Who's the NBA player who slipped on the McDonald's bag? Any really bizarre excuse? Maybe there's something to it. But Dom, how is Schefter recovering from this ravioli injury?
Yeah, to make that up is impressive to begin with, but it kind of reminds me of, I think it was the Masters when Dustin Johnson apparently fell down the stairs and didn't play. So it's like, obviously something deeper is going on that we don't know about. He hasn't won to this point, and his odds have remained pretty much at this spot through the entire year. So me and Matt talk about it pretty much every week when Scheffler's in the event. 4-1, I can't get there. There's no way.
Yeah. No.
Can you? All right. So what? But it's one of those classic lies where you include too much detail, right?
Well, maybe he did
ravioli.
injure himself making ravioli. He left the part out that he had like 3 bottles of wine beforehand. Like maybe, Dustin Johnson probably did fall down a flight of stairs, but he wasn't sober, judging from Dustin Johnson's history.
He was hanging out with Wayne Gretzky's kid. They were having,
judging from his activity, him being sober.
I mean, he kind of admits that he's drunk as well, but it's still like the detail of the ravioli just feels like it just felt like an accidental, like, oh shit, now I have to stick to the ravioli. And with Scotty Scheffler,
it's like, why are you the one cooking?
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Well, he likes to make a ravioli, and as he said in the quote,
he's had a bunch of weird stories. I got arrested. I got injured making ravioli. This guy has some weird luck.
He says, and quote, when you want to eat ravioli, you obviously want to make them from scratch. Like, all right, I guess so. That's not usually. I'll reach for the bag in the refrigerator.
Yeah, I'm not too proud to use.
I mean, I'm not that Italian.
Store-bought ravioli there. All right, so Scheffler, I'm with you. It's tough. Now we'll talk contest, and we are doing a contest with Splash Sports again, running back the and shout out to the Survivor. That was a crazy sweat there towards the end. They have they have a contest called Tiers, basically picking. It's very similar to a DFS format where you're picking 6 golfers, 1 in each tier. Now there is maybe for our contest, there maybe is some strategy in taking a guy like Scheffler because it's not. Like if you're playing one of those massive GPP tournaments, the odds of hitting with him versus in a smaller tournament, maybe you could talk me into it, but certainly Scheffler outright.
You've got that NFL on your head.
Doesn't seem like a super fun play. What about some of the other guys top of the board? Rory, the guy who just keeps coming up short here. What's your take on Rory coming into the tournament?
If I haven't made a bet towards the very top of the odds board, but if I do, I think it's Rory. I wish it wasn't as low as 6.5. I wish we were getting a little bit better number, a little closer to 10, but I mean, the lead in form is exactly what I'm looking for, especially when you look at the past champions, how they were playing coming in. I mean, his last 8 worldwide events, he's won 3 times, 6 top 5s. His 3 worst finishes in the last 5 months: T17, T15, T5. So it's just ridiculous the type of form he's coming in with. So that first tier, I'd be really tempted to go with Rory.
Yeah, no, I don't know if I'm going to pull the trigger on him, but I totally see the case. The 650. I don't know. I'm a little worried about Rory late, Ryan. That's where I'm at.
Well,
where are you at on Rory?
Well, I would like generally, or in a couple years past, I've been able to get some intel on where his head doctor, I believe it's Dr. Bob Rotella. And I think it might have been 2020. It might have been last year, 2 years ago. Like he had him flown in for like days before the Masters. And it was like, oh no, this is not a good, you know what it is? 2021 is when that happened, I believe. I would say not like the TMZ take on Rory is that he's a choke artist, and that the Masters is the course where people choke, and so it would be difficult for me to pull the trigger there as well.
Yeah,
in fact, anything less than 10 in golf, it's just like you want to have some bangers. So you don't want,
and that's
even though it's a nice, you got to compare it to NFL stuff. So like, that's like a 18-point dog on a Sunday, but still in golf terms, it's not nearly as fun.
No, it's not super sexy. Now, Dom, let's talk big picture as far as golfing strategy. If people haven't heard you yet on the Golf Gambling Podcast, hopefully they check it out here coming up. What is your strategy? Do you fire on some outrights? Do you like some matchups? Do you like some props? Do you do a little bit of everything? How do you attack a tournament in general, and how are you attacking the Masters?
I attack pretty much every week the exact same, I would say. I mean, people who don't bet golf every week, I mean, it's not rocket science to figure out like hitting a golf outright is like very difficult. So people who strictly bet outrights every single week, unless you're firing at a ridiculous mark, I mean, you're just not going to win money that way unless you hit some crazy long shots, whatever. But I like to, there's a lot of sports books out there that offer each ways. So like this week, the couple books have top 7 each ways. So if you bet on, I don't know, Colin Morikawa with the each way, if he finishes top 7 or better, you get that top 7 cash as well. So just having that fallback a little bit. Like I had Maverick McNeely last week, kind of backdoor his way into a top 5, paid for all my outrights last week. So there's a strategy of doing it. I like doing top 40 bets. This week's a little bit different because the field is so much smaller, but I usually like to go to that even money mark and then just throw a top 40 because as long as your guy makes the cut, they're pretty much live for a top 40 unless they implode on the weekend. So there's a couple different ways to make money outside of just strictly betting like 4 or 5 guys outright and getting your heart broken every single week.
Now explain what is the current, I think they've changed it I'm trying to remember when they changed it, but what's the rules for the cut at the Masters?
So the cut is, I believe, within 10 strokes of the lead, and it should be top 65. I could be wrong.
Okay.
I feel like it changes every year,
Yeah,
but
I feel like it
something
changed
along
a little
those
bit.
lines.
But I like the top 40. Do you play any of the make miss cut stuff?
I don't, but for the Masters, it's definitely fun to parlay if you want to throw like 10, 12 in, because a higher clip of guys are making the cut at this event. And then you have a lot of the past champions who obviously miss the cut every single year. They just come, show up, hit some golf balls, play their 2 rounds, and
now,
go
who
on.
is it's probably not fun odds wise, but if you were to build one of these mega parlays of guys who are definitely not making the cut, who are some of the leaders to definitely be cut? No chance they make it.
Oh God, I got to get a decent one for you guys. Let's see.
I mean,
while you're looking, cut line will be top 50, including ties.
Oh, okay. So to Dom's point, yeah, top 40, you're pretty good as long as if you make the cut, you're pretty much cashing the top 40 there.
Hopefully, yeah. I think. I mean, to miss the cut, you could definitely go with a lot of these older guys, but the guy I was on last week who just has no game anymore is Matthew Fitzpatrick. His odds to miss the cut would actually probably be decent. Like it wouldn't be ridiculous like some of these guys who are horrible, but I would put him in there. I would honestly.
He's minus 160 to.
Ooh, okay. To make or miss.
Well, that's make. Let me look up.
Oh, so you're getting plus odds to miss it.
Probably
plus 120. Plus 120 to miss.
I'd throw him in there. I'm so done with
that. All right, write that down, Sean.
Yeah, I'm adding that.
Right, let's build our card here, please.
Yeah. Miss
you want to? Well,
plus 120.
Is Freddie Couples playing? Minus 390 to miss the cut.
Was it VJ Singh? I saw announced he wasn't going to make it because of injury. He would have been a nice fade.
Freddie Couples back never makes it to the weekend.
Freddie Couples
Freddie
Couples last 5 is cut 50th, cut. So
he's not going to make it. Minus 390.
All right,
it's found money on the street.
Wait, what is it?
Minus 390.
Fred Couples to miss the cut.
It's a mortal lock.
Yeah, actually. All right.
He plays his rounds to be a part of the gang and hang out, but his back is not. He's not making it.
No, it is kind of elder abuse. But maybe we put it in a parlay with Fitzpatrick.
Well, let me put it
Freddie
this
Couples.
way: Bernard Langer.
Yeah,
like he's like I think he's German. He like gets the stem cells and everything, keeps fit and young. He's the same price. They're mispricing Freddie Couples here, Sean.
Yeah.
Write that one down too.
What about Angel how do you pronounce Angel Cabrera? Yeah, I feel like he's always a guy that's gonna hit the wall, right?
But he's actually worse odds. Minus 525.
Really? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you're nailing the hits right now.
So let's Angel Cabrera parlayed with Freddie Couples.
All right, I see what
the hater
doing.
parlay. I like that.
And that's a minus 204. Put those two together.
Okay. Yeah. And then throwing Matt Fitzpatrick. Make it a little 3-ball there.
All right, let's see if we throw him in. Let's see what that shit. Oh, plus 229, Sean.
Oh man. All right.
Banger.
We're cooking up some winners here. All right. Of course, make sure you get in on our contest. Head over to splashsports.com/SGPN. $25 entry. And the prize pool could get up to as high as 30K, of course, depending on how much we get or what the turnout is. But yeah, make sure you get in the Augusta Showdown. splashsports.com/SGPN. And of course, if you're getting down on the Masters, you can do it over at mybookie.ag. They got props. They got a bunch of obviously first round leaders. We're going to be talking about a little bit about that later on in the week. Easy deposits, lightning fast payouts using that sweet cryptocurrency. mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN. mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN. And I was noticing even some of the outright prices were better over on mybookie.ag than some of the green and blue book offerings. So definitely shop around at MyBookie. Tons of options, especially in the prop market. MyBookie.ag, promo code SGPN. And of course, shout out to Edge Boost. Love me a sweet Edge Boost. If you're thinking of taking some long shots for the Masters, what better money to use than the Edge Boost rewards. Go to edgeboost.bet, use your promo code SGPN, sign up, get that sweet Visa debit card, easy to load up. And you were not going to get denied. Sportsbooks, DFS, sweepstakes, casinos, anywhere you're getting down. Edge Boost has you covered, up to $750 in cash back each month. FDIC insured, and it's free. Help yourself out, help us out, and when you use the promo code SGPN, you get the instant tier 2 status with the cash back rewards. EdgeBoost.bet, promo code SGPN. All right, Kramer.
Before we start, can I give you a nugget? A nugget for this year's Masters that stood out for me.
Sure. What do you got?
21 of the 96 golfers are playing the Masters for the first time. Tremendous amount. And learn something about how many people have won in their first go at the Masters.
I don't think it's many. It's who was the last one to do it?
Well, the answer that you hear people say is 3.
Okay.
The last time it happened was 1979. Fuzzy Zeller.
Yeah.
He won in a playoff versus Ed Snead and Tom Watson. But here's the crazy thing: the only other times it happened were 1934, 1935. This is
so back to back.
Well, hold
years.
on. This is significant because the first year the Masters was played was 1934. So basically,
that doesn't count.
So basically, this has only happened once.
Yeah,
and so you almost
Modern
have to
golf.
cross off. And there's a lot of sexy names in there. Maverick McNeely, we heard that name smoking earlier. I know them when I sent this list to the man in the box. He was like, "Oh man, this is a lot of the guys I like."
Well, but dude, they can have good rounds,
of course,
but just don't play them on the outright.
Course. But I thought it stood out. 21 guys out of 96, Sean, are playing for the first time.
Crazy.
That just seems that's a large number. Anyway, that's my Nito Masters fact of the year.
Love it. Ryan, let's start with tier 1 over on this Splash Sports game. Who is your tier 1 pick?
Well, Sean, we are in the content game.
Yes.
Game recognizes game. Shout out to Bryson. He's crushing it over on YouTube. Also, this is his 9th Masters start. And let's see. He actually it doesn't even matter. Focus on the YouTube. Have you watched any of his content recently? Hole in one over the house?
No.
Playing with the president?
No.
He is absolutely crushing YouTube. Narrative and vibes only in my contest entry.
Wow, you're going Bryson.
Well, you know what it is? Brooks has let us down. And as I've realized, I'm now a free agent. No longer need Brooks in my life. I realized that I can step forward and say that, yeah, Bryson is crushing it on YouTube. Respect.
All right. So Dom,
love the live guys.
Dom, you're on the, put your judging hat on. You can be either a Simon or a Randy here or a Paula, depending on your pill intake. We're not judgmental over here.
Yeah, you can be a Paula.
Whatever you want to be. How do you rate Kramer's selection here?
If we're going on vibes and content, A+.
Oh, okay.
But
like the videos are going to be killer coming out of the Masters.
but also, I think the first tier is where if you get different and you hit on it, I mean that it's going to eliminate a lot of the field in that contest. So I like it.
And Bryson, if he's going to score, he's the scorer. So.
Yeah, when he first gained all that distance off the tee and bulked up that 1 year, I mean, people were saying
that was very funny year.
How is he not going to win the Masters? Like this was the course. Everyone was like, he's got the distance. This was the missing piece. Obviously, hasn't done it yet, but this could be the year.
That was a funny time in golf where like he was like talking shit about courses and like the old heads were talking shit back at him. Yeah. It was a really wild. The pandemic really drove some crazy ass shit in the golf community. All right, Sean, what are you doing up
My
here?
tier 1, Ryan. I'm going to a gentleman. I know one of our listeners is a massive fan of his. He won the PGA in 2024.
That's awesome.
He won the U.S. Open in 2024. He has
still have no idea
a top 2 finish in 2019. X is going to give it to you. Gold medal winning Xander Schauffele. No one's talking about him, even though he was close to a birdie fest at the PGA and the slugfest at the Royal Troon. He's just been He's been on a heater of all heaters.
Yes.
Everyone's in love with Scotty, but Xander really has been one of the best golfers in the past 2 years, and somehow flying under the radar. 18, 21, 20 to win it all. How say you, Dom, on Xander Schauffele?
He is flying under the radar. And the thing is, everyone has all these cons on all these guys. So like the big thing with like, they say Rory can't win. They say Morikawa can't win, this and that. Xander has proven he can win. The thing with him is everyone's saying, well, he hasn't been playing well because he's just coming off of an injury. So it's like, you can knock all of these guys, but he is one guy who, if he shows up in the form that we have all seen and we've seen recently, he's definitely live and he's definitely a good value. I'm just concerned where his health is at. That's really where I stand.
Really, Sean Green backing a guy named Xander with an X.
Yeah, come on. X gonna give it to you.
That's not a real name.
Oh, it's a great name.
I mean, I like Xander, but you don't recognize it as a real name.
Yeah, well, you know, he's been dominating and he's getting disrespected, Ryan. Of course, I'm going to be all over Xander. Ryan, who's your tier 2 golfer?
Well, this one is all about recency bias.
Yeah,
because the second I heard Minwoo Lee talk, I was like, "That's it. I'm in on this guy." If you listen to, he was on Pardon My Take, and he kind of said that he wasn't really trying at golf until a couple years ago. And he still has some top 25 finishes at Augusta. He still has, it sounds like basically his sister started kicking his ass and it was embarrassing. So he had to start focusing on his golf game a little bit. And he, you know, he just won. Always like guys in good form. And it sounded like the way that he was talking about Augusta, he has some confidence around the course. And we know that's an element that matters down there in Disgusta, which is, by the way, what people who aren't from there, but near there, that's what they call Augusta. They call it Disgusta. And I can vouch for that. And once you're outside the gates, different story. different story. So yeah, Minwoo Lee, I'm taking some recency bias here, but man, I like his spunk.
Recency bias, and he fits the vibes. You're riding all vibes, and Minwoo definitely fits it. After his win, he posted the coolest win video I've ever seen on Twitter after a win. Like, great edit. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. But really enjoy Minwoo Lee. That year I was at the Masters, he hit a ball like directly at us, and we just stayed there and watched the next shot. It wasn't even close, but that's the only year he missed the cut. So
there you go. And you're not going this year, right?
No.
Yeah, so exactly. It sounds like Minwoo is safe to make the cut.
Yeah, you were jinxing him there.
I'd also, if you haven't checked out that interview, kind of funny how he casually talks about how sometimes when you're like basically kangaroo or their deer. So if you're out on a golf course, once in a while, the kangaroos will back up on their tails and try to box you.
Oh,
imagine you're out just playing around in golf and a fucking kangaroo comes up and tries to fuck you up.
Yeah.
Imagine if deer were kangaroos, Sean. That'd be a wild existence. I was thinking about that. That'd be pretty crazy.
That they're just that, yeah.
Like they're just the thing on the golf course.
Supposedly their pouch is really disgusting.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I watched
on cartoons. They seem like great purses. You can put anything in there, a real fanny pack. But
no, they're like
they come out and it's like got all this like goo and like
it's where the baby like lives and hangs out. Like, what do you think happens?
I don't know. It's just a warning to kangaroo lovers.
I had to wipe my kid's ass until they were like 6. What do you think a baby kangaroo?
Just don't think of don't use them as an extra caddy. Putting your extra balls and like T markers in there.
And his oldest, and just again the element that his older sister is better than him.
That'll
two-time major champion. That's gotta. I could only imagine as someone who once had to play on the same baseball team as his sister. Very embarrassing.
My tier 2 pick. He has never won a Masters, but
it's not his first time starting.
No, the Open Championship, he got second. That's his best finish. U.S. Open, he got as high as second. PGA, he was tied for 5th. Last year in the Masters, he was tied for 3rd place. Always the bridesmaid, never the bride. My favorite golfer, or one of my favorite golfers, has started out in Dubai, a great season, wrapping up so far in San Antonio.
This guy have long hair.
So he's made 7 starts, finishing in the top 22 6 times. Gimme Tommy Fleetwood.
How many years in a row?
It's a tradition unlike any other. Hello, friends. Tommy Fleetwood. I've done the math, Dom. I got to bet Tommy Fleetwood to win the Masters every year. Figure if things go well, I'm at least going to be alive for 40 more years. Yeah. Knock on wood. Tommy Fleetwood, this motherfucker's got to win one of these. And if I bet him for 40 years straight at 40-1 every year, his odds are 40-1 every year. One of these years is going to be the Tommy Fleetwood year. Even if not at the tier 2, I think he's a decent value. I know everyone's everyone's hyping up Shane Lowry. He's gotten a lot of hype. I've heard Hovland. I've heard Joaquin Neiman getting some hype. To me, of this group, veteran Tommy Fleetwood got so close.
Yeah, that second tier to me, looking through, is probably the most difficult to choose out of all of them. I mean, obviously the last one where you have the entire rest of the guys is difficult as well. But that second tier, I think, is very difficult to choose. Like you said, I think Lowry's going to be very popular. I think Russell Henley's going to be very popular in there. So if Xander wins for you, I mean, Tommy Fleetwood probably won't, but at least in Splash, it won't matter. Right.
Yeah, no, Tommy, one of these years he's going to win one. So I'll take that. I'll take that as a win. Ryan, who's your tier 3 golfer?
Well, again, sticking with the game recognizing game, this guy is not only making his 14th Masters start, where he has finished well. He's also recently launched a YouTube channel called The Lads. Sean, you wouldn't believe it. Has a child named Dash. Shout out Nagels Bagels, and a dude who's been on the drip squad before. Hopefully he shows up to the course in those baggy ass sweatpants. Jason Day, come on down. I think he's even in good form. The internet tells me, at least. Dom, how are we feeling about Jason Day?
Again, fits the vibes check. He's in decent form. He hasn't
Jason Day has no vibes. Come on.
Look, he shocked the golf world with his attire. He's so drippy. I don't think I said that right, but
no, you did. And I mean, he's coming in really good form. Hasn't played well the last couple times he's been at Augusta, but at the same time, we're in tier 3. So
that's Dom ripping your pick. Dom's a nice guy. He doesn't want to destroy your pick, but saying, "Hey, we're in tier 3." That's not a ringing endorsement from the expert over here. Right? Now let's see if I can get him excited.
I fear it's only going to get worse.
I considered Sepp Straka. Even took a look at Wyndham Clark. Jason Day is an interesting, outright at 80-1, sure, but this gentleman. Some are calling him the new Tommy Fleetwood.
Oh,
he's a Scotsman who has 4 top 11 finishes in his last 5 starts, highlighted by a 9th place at the Players.
Does he also have hair?
He does. I'm assuming
you got a type.
Well, most guys, you know what? He wears a hat, so I can't really tell.
Okay,
but he's wearing a sweet camo Nike polo in his profile photo. And he's been great on the approach last couple weeks. Give me Bobby Mack. What do you make of Bobby Mack this week, Dom?
Bobby Mack is one who, I mean, last year I was really high on him heading into the year. Started off slow and then just took off. He's shown the ability to win in big spots. I've heard a couple people starting to back him, and he's gaining a little bit of steam. My pick in this was actually Will Zalatoris.
Oh, okay. Will you see?
The form isn't as great as we'd like to see, but the approach numbers have been great. Proximity's been great. He's had a good course history here and plays good when it gets difficult. So Will Z, and I bet him back in December at 80-1. So I also have a little bit of bias there.
Ooh, okay. I like that. What is he at now?
He is, I believe, 60 or 40. Zalatoris is 65.
Listen to that sharp sound effect. Nice little CLV there,
That
Dom.
is nice.
Good.
That never works like that.
You should have led with that. That's a true tout. You got to start off the show by saying, "Hey, just so you know, I had him at 80-1. The market now is 65-1. Doesn't matter if you win. It's just all about closing line value." Kramer, who's your tier 4 golfer?
All right. Trivia, Sean.
Yeah.
How many of the 8, well, The guy I'm giving out is one of 8 players with at least 3 Masters wins. Can you name any of the other 7? I'm sure you can.
Well, Tiger Woods. 3 Masters wins.
At least 3. If you just throw out some of the hits, you'll probably get some more right.
Phil Mickelson.
No, not well. He's in my lineup. But,
okay.
But can you name any of the other 7?
Wait, he did win 3.
Yeah, I know. Okay. He's the guy in my lineup. All right. The rest are retired.
So that one counts.
Yeah, that counts.
Okay. Jack Nicklaus.
Yes.
Okay.
That's 3. You could probably one more is like a very clear, obvious, like a couple if you were a real golf head like me.
Arnold Palmer.
That's a good one. Another guy who does golf coverage. I don't know if he's still in the.
Ben Hogan?
Nope, not Ben Hogan.
Gary Player?
Gary Player's one. Now you're cheating. Nick Faldo, Sam Snead, and Jimmy Demerit.
Oh, okay.
Come on.
That would have taken me a while.
Nick, yeah.
So you're playing Phil in tier 4, Ryan.
I'm playing Phil in tier 4. Did you know Phil was the low amateur in 1991 and also holds the record for lowest score for someone older than 50 years? Or he's the oldest.
I used to be a Phil fan. Then I read that Billy Walters book.
What?
Phil Mickelson did him dirty. I'm team Billy Walters. I could never back Phil Mickelson.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Read that book. Phil Mickelson really boned over Billy Walters.
Looking out for number 1.
Yeah. Not who I want. Not who I want in my lineup. But explain to the audience why he's a good tier 4 golfer.
Well, he's a good tier 4 golfer. One, when I was sitting around the office with CJ, we basically were just crossing off guys from this tier. Started with Dustin. We then reminisced about Dustin Johnson falling down the steps or whatever, and then talked about Wayne Gretzky for a little bit. And then I realized that if you log into Splash Sports and you see the photo they've used for Phil Mickelson, you see the guy who just came out of some sort of bender and is like, fuck it, we're going to go hit some bombs. And so sticking with the vibes,
You know I'm a degenerate.
and I didn't know how many people would enter. So I figured this might be a good way to differentiate. Not many people going to be clicking the Phil Mickelson button. How does Phil sound on my card, Dom?
I don't hate Phil at all. I mean,
Oh.
backed into a T2 in 2023. 2 of his last 3 live starts were top 6 finishes. So his form was a little questionable until he popped a solo third a few weeks back in Hong Kong, I think it was. But yeah, I don't mind that at all.
I read a Reddit theory that you got to keep an eye on when the live tour is going to these places where you can get like the good HGH and other things like that. Phil strikes me as the kind of guy that gets some alternative therapy over there.
#Legends only.
All right. For my tier 4 golfer, this is a gentleman making his 9th appearance at the Masters. He's finished in the top 25 in his previous 2 outings at Augusta. He has not missed a cut this season, and he had a record finishing coming at the Arnold Palmer Invitational. 5 top 20 finishes in the past 8 tournaments. It looks to be in fantastic form. That's right, Keegan Bradley.
Oh, no.
Dom, how say you, Keegan Bradley?
Form is there. I don't know.
No.
I'm not a huge Keegan guy. But he actually rates out pretty well for me. He's 15th in my model overall. So sometimes I just have certain biases where I can't click a guy. This tier was difficult for me too. I went Daniel Berger, just kind of off the rails, mainly riding form. But
now, what about Sahith Theegala? He was close to being my guy. Do you like Sahith better than Keegan, or should I ride it out with Keegan
better? I like Keegan a lot better.
Right. I'll stay with Keegan.
He's in bad form, Sean.
And I trust Dom's model, even though I've never seen Dom's model. I mean, if Sahith is, or if Keegan's 15 and Dom's model, come on. I'm counting that one as a win.
I wonder where Phil is in that model.
he's nowhere to be found.
Yeah, he's probably.
You have to expand
someone else's
expand the cells. Kramer, T5, tier 5. Who is your golfer?
All right, let me pull it. Oh, because tier 5 was a tricky one. And again, a lot of the first timers down here, Fitzpatrick, who we're already taking to miss the cut. So I definitely don't want to throw him in the lineup. So Sean, I found a guy, and he played the Masters back in 2022. He also went to San Diego State.
Really?
Two-time All-American. Was a member of the All Mountain West team in 2010, 2011, and 2012, where he was the conference player of the year. That's right. We're talking about JJ Spawn. And yep, that concludes. Oh wait, did he? He's also in decent form, Sean. And playing through diabetes.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't really know what that means, but it said that in the bio. I thought it was very brave of him. So JJ Spawn, is this a good dart throw or a complete?
Dom looks confused, but go ahead, Dom.
My tier 5 is JJ Spawn as well.
Yes.
Oh no!
What's up,
This is
Sean?
the first time we overlapped.
Hell yeah! Oh, I like.
Yeah,
this.
I mean,
tell me more.
It's all about form.
Why do you like him?
It's all about form for me. I mean, he's second at the Players, T2 at Cognizant as well. Ball striking has been ridiculous. His approach has been ridiculous. So when I see irons flushing like that, and he has not a lot of experience, like you said, he only played in 2022, but he's been here, so he knows what it's like. He's also 29th in the world. I mean, he's ranked pretty high to be in the 5th tier down here. So I like JJ Spawn quite a bit. Outright wise, obviously, no. Splash, I would say yes, and also maybe like a top 20 or a top 40, depending on what number you get.
That sounds like I'm betting the first round leader. That's what I heard was good. Maybe check out a first round leader. Plus 280 for him to be top 20. I'm seeing, Sean.
Okay.
Maybe throw that in the card.
All right, let's see. For mine, now I had JJ Spawn, but I'll
really?
mix it. No, of course not.
You can feel free to jump on the wagon.
No, I'll tell you. You want to talk about a wagon?
We love the ass.
This gentleman's been dominating, and Dom mentioned him earlier on in the episode. He's making his Masters debut, but I'm not going to play him to win outright. But you know, he's been on a nice little run. He's had 4 top 10 finishes worldwide in the 2025, including runner-up at Torrey Pines, T3 in San Antonio in April. Give me the one and only Maverick McNeely. Dom, how do you like Maverick McNeely for, maybe not to win, but in a DFS type tournament? How do you feel about Maverick's chances?
Yeah, I will never argue anyone taking Maverick McNeely. Actually, my first week on the golf gambling pod, I hit his outright back at the RSM Classic. So I think the only knock people can really have on Mav is that he's never played here before. And it doesn't mean that, okay, he can't win, but we're down in this 5th tier. So I think anything goes pretty much. He finishes inside the top 15. He definitely would pay off that spot. So
I noticed something there, a little abbreviation of the first name, little nickname,
like it.
Hey, Sean, maybe you can get to that level with Mav. He was my first pass. He was an interesting element in my model, but then I hit the get all these first timers out of here. My model doesn't even look at them. Sean doesn't even.
Well,
look
they
at
do say, and I forget the exact formula, but I think it's like that 3rd through 7th Masters, and it may even be like 3rd, 5th, and 7th Masters. Those are kind of like
a sweet spot.
The sweet spot of how many times you've played the course before you get too old that you lose some power, but enough to have the course knowledge. It's that like middle of the road. Those are the guys you're looking to fire on.
And Mav is also, he's a little bit different too, in a way where I think he's 30 years old now. So it's not like he's this young kid who's going to Augusta for the first time. He's just dealt with injuries. He was like one of the top amateurs coming up for the longest time, was supposed to be exactly what he is now. So I don't think this is a true debut for a guy who's 30.
Yeah, we've gotten this deep into a Masters podcast and we haven't said debutante yet.
Yeah. I'm not playing any debutantes. Kramer, What do you?
He is.
Oh wait, he is. I thought debutantes had to be amateurs.
No. It's their first.
Okay.
I think it's just the debut. Why the South
so one
adopted
debutante.
a French word to use for their fancy club? I don't know.
Kramer, what's your tier 6 golfer?
So this guy's brother is making his debut, but Nikolai Højgaard, I'm probably not saying that right. Danish, I'm guessing with that O with the line through it, whatever that's called. CJ tried to educate me earlier, and I've already forgotten. He made his debut last year, where he was in the top 6 for most of the tournament. Sean, in fact, until he kind of fell apart in the final round, I think he still finished top 20. And again, when you pop open this tier, I mean, this is the tier that has Freddie Couples, and all the other golfers. Sean's trying to parlay to miss the cut, so we had to get crafty. And I'd say playing a tournament like that here will give you the confidence to back it up here. And fun fact, they will be the first set of twins to compete in the same Masters tournament. So welcome to the team, Nikolai. I don't know much about his vibes, but pretty impressive to have twins there. And yeah, do we like Nikolai more than his brother? What's his brother's name? Rasmus. That's like a metal band guitarist. Rasmus.
I've already lost quite a bit of money on Rasmus this year because they keep throwing him at 100-1 in pretty bad fields, and it hasn't went well yet. But I mean, prior to this past year, Nikolai was always the better Højgaard twin. So Nikolai is also my tier 6. We overlap on 2 of the last 3. When he was younger, he was I think he's won 2 or 3 times on the DP World Tour. He is a guy who could definitely miss the cut, but also could be the first round leader. He's just so volatile. And when you're down in this tier, why would you not go shoot for the moon? You know?
I like the way I finished this one.
Well, Ryan, I'm excited for my finish. Tier 6,
really? Wow.
Gentlemen, he's making his 4th Masters appearance. He's finished in the top 10 each of the last 2 years. To me, that is a bet on sign.
Great value.
How is he even in tier 6? That's what I want to know. Give me Cameron Young. Dom, this is a steal in tier 6, right? Come on.
It really is. He doesn't really fit in just because of his profile, I guess. Like 2 years ago, people were talking about him as being like the next best thing. He's another guy who just hasn't figured it out, hasn't got a win. It could be coming. He showed a little bit this past week with a top 20 finish. So tier 6, I mean, I think all things go, and there's a clear, I wrote down like 8 names. The rest I would kind of throw out the window, and he was in there for me. So
at least he has a picture. I mean, there are guys in this tier that don't even have pictures. That's
yeah, that was also part of my handicap. If you can't get a profile photo up on Splash Sports, we are not playing you. So yeah.
Sean, are we wagering?
Wagering?
Well, I generally kick your ass at this.
Oh, how dare you?
I mean, it's been like 4 straight years.
No, come on.
At least
your bookkeeping is highly questionable.
That's fine. You can question it. It's real.
All right. Hey, we'll talk some of the outrights. We're going to do some of our other bets. Before we do, shout out to Underdog Fantasy. Use that promo code SGPN, and you can get in over on Underdog when you use that promo code. Any Underdog stuff, Dom, you find interesting for the Masters so far?
I have not wandered over to Underdog quite yet, so to be determined on that one.
Kramer, anything you like on Underdog? I know you mentioned. I mean, you can do some first round leader stuff. There's a lot of fun. You know what? Yeah.
I was gonna recommend. Had you finished asking me that
sure.
your made miss cut parlay potentially you could do over here.
Okay. So yeah, you're right. Let's do. This will be fun. So we'll do. Who are we looking for the miss cut?
Well, I think you start with the Freddie Couples.
Sorry, Fred. Love you. So made cuts we got to do lower.
Yep. That's actually a great price.
Yeah, that's
a
pretty
great
good
price
on Fred Couples, and then Angel Cabrera. Toss him in there. Yeah. Well, they only have higher for to make the cut. We could just put Matthew Fitzpatrick in there.
Fitzpatrick. Okay. We'll go Fitzpatrick and Couples.
Okay, so Matty Fitzpatrick, lower number of made cuts, and Freddie Couples, lower half a made cut. $100 entry returns you $220.
I'm going big.
Yeah, I'm going to take what I used on the national championship, roll it over, underdogfantasy.com, promo code SGPN. And we're also brought to you by Rhythm. Ryan, I know you signed up for Rhythm 7-day free trial, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. And you said you were going to use Rhythm a lot for your golf picks for this weekend. What is something that, have you used any of the Rhythm stuff?
Well, last I looked, I don't think, I don't think
I'm looking at it right now. Okay. One of their plays. Let's see. Terrell Hatton, top 20 at plus 130. They like the win probability over there. It's great. You can build your own model. And you're thinking, I don't know how to build a model. It's very easy to get started over on Rhythm, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Get your 7-day free trial today. All right, let's talk. Let's hear more from Dom. Dom, what are some of, and obviously save some for the Golf Gambling Podcast so people check it out. But what are some of stuff you already have in pocket for the Masters coming up?
So I have the Will Zalatoris future at 80. It's funny you said Tyrell Hatton. I recently bet Tyrell Hatton with the top 7 each way. Like I said, I like to have a little bit of a backboard there just in case he gets up there and gets too close and has a heartbreak at the end. So there's a little. What is
an each way? Meaning,
so an each way is from a
top. Is that different from top 7?
Yeah, not many places offer a top 7, and they just did top 7 this week. It's usually a top 6, but say a guy's 100-1 and you bet $10 on him. You click the each way button so you get his top 7 or higher, so he could finish T7, T6, 5, 4, so on and so forth. You have to match what you bet on the outright, and then it divides it by 5. So 100-1 guy each way would be 20-1 for a top 7. Which usually that number is a lot better than that guy's best top 5 number anywhere.
I like this bet.
All right. That's fun.
And not many books offer it.
Yeah. So shop around. Check out the Terrell Hatton each way, the Will Zalatoris future you're cooking on. And what else you got in the kitty?
So we're still deciding on the top of the board, but like I said, Rory, I think, is a little too short for me. So I think I'm going to hammer 2 in the middle, and it's Colin Morikawa and Justin Thomas.
Okay.
2 guys who people aren't too fond of just because of what they have and have not been able to do. But look, both guys have won a major already. Both guys for me are gaining strokes across the board, like top to bottom. They're doing everything that you're looking for. Morikawa hasn't missed a cut in over a year. Justin Thomas is pretty much in the same boat. And the thing that caught my eye about Justin Thomas, missed 2 straight cuts at the Masters. Last 2 years missed cut. He did not have the putter at all. He's coming off of 2 of his best 15 putting performances in his entire career. He gained 7 at Valspar, 4.5 at the Players. 7 of his last 11 events are T9 or better. So I'm a big Justin Thomas fan. I've held off for the most part this year, but I'm back on at 25.
Now you're treating yourself to a Justin Thomas future.
I am.
Sean, Rhythm loves a handful of outrights. You wouldn't
who are their favorite outrights?
Justin Thomas.
Oh, wow.
Colin Morikawa.
Oh, wow.
And Tommy Fleetwood.
Oh, let's go. Well, perfect transition into what I'm betting. Obviously now, my bookie had most places had him 18-1. My bookie had Xander at 25-1.
No.
Scooped that one up. Then Tommy Fleetwood, my annual Fleetwood donation, 40-1. and then Robert McIntyre 60-1. So those are my three big outright plays. And yeah, I'm sure we're talking a little bit more Masters. I'm sure I'll probably add some props, some first round leader stuff as we go. But those are I feel like when I get killed, it's when I have too much of stuff. Just give me my big three. I'm playing them in my top 3 tiers. I'm playing them outright. I'm keeping it simple. Kramer, what are you doing?
Well, I am playing a couple. We're doing the similar strategy as to last year.
Okay.
We're going to
one massive bet on one guy.
Well, some years I put too many bets out there, and I will have, I'll spray some first round leaders.
Yeah.
Later in the week
tomorrow.
But all right. Jason Day, 2-1 top 20.
Okay.
I fired that off. Rhythm told me it was a good price. I'm also playing the no hole in one plus 140.
Really?
Yes.
So you hate fun?
Well, no, but hole in ones are hard to come by. There's only been 34 in the history of the Masters.
Okay.
And I believe there's not been one in the last 3 years.
So they're due.
Now shop around, because the only hole that they will get the hole in one on is 16.
Okay.
And you can, in some places, you can find the yes, no on hole 16 to get a better price than the no hole in one, which again makes no sense, but we know how these books are. Sometimes they fall asleep at the wheel. Talk to Sup Boy and the kickoff props. The no hole in one, I'm going 2x NFL bet.
Really?
Yes.
Right. This is going to be.
It's all
you're setting yourself up for a heartbreak, because as soon as a hole in one happens, your entire feed will just be people rubbing it in your face for going against an awesome hole in one. And then what if it's one of your golfers? Then you'll feel really dumb.
No, that won't happen.
This is anti-fun, Ryan.
What do you mean?
I cannot sign up for anti-fun bets.
I'm playing the don't pass line on the craps table.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just got to collect a profit.
No, this is bad.
Plus 140?
No.
It hasn't happened in 3 years.
Yeah, that means it's due.
I don't like the way you're talking. I've already made this wager. Now, here's what I regret. I wish we were going to be in Vegas this week so I could have a paper ticket. With this
really? So you could rip it up when it goes in?
Well, shredding it would be part of the process. All right. The other, so these are kind of more along the lines of me playing stuff that showed up on our little card here.
Okay.
You got to bet some of the stuff.
Yeah.
You got to have some overlap. Our boy, Nikolai Højgaard, you can get him at minus 120 to make the cut. So if I like him as my tier 6 guy, I love him to make the cut. And by the way, you can also play him heads up versus brother at even money. Who finishes better?
Really? Do you have a Højgaard preference, Dom?
I've had a lot of Højgaard preferences, and they don't always go as planned. But my thing is, if he makes the cut, he's pretty likely to finish like top 20. So if you want to sprinkle to make the cut, 20. You might want to go, top 20, top 10. I mean, he can mix when he makes the cut. It's just he has to get over that hump first.
Now, with the Splash Sports, obviously read all the rules and I mean, they take the top 5, so you can roll the dice a little bit if you want.
You get a little buffer.
Well, I'm just saying, I don't think, especially with some of the bottom tiers, you really benefit by being conservative. You should. Now, it's not quite like a DraftKings GPP tournament where you have to get really cute, but you should still, especially with the bottom 3 tiers, I think, be playing for a little bit of upside, because if one guy misses the cut, that's fine. You still have, as long as your 5 other guys make the cut, you're in good shape. I'm just saying, I don't think it's, you don't benefit by playing conservative in the contest.
One last thing to add to the card, smashing Phil Mickelson, top senior, minus 160.
Who is he competing against?
It's him, Angel Cabrera, plus 360.
Yeah, that guy's not going.
Bernard Langer, plus 360.
Just beating up on the old guys.
Freddie Couples, plus 750. Jose Maria Olazabal, plus I fucked up that 14-1, and then Mike Weir 14-1. So is this not? This should be like minus 1,000, Sean.
Yeah.
I'm doing all the no fun bets on the Masters this year.
What could go wrong? What could go wrong?
That's a good number.
Yeah, no, that is. I mean, I'm with you. That's a good price. All right, so yeah, we'll talk a little first round leader later in the week and probably toss in some props we like. Dom, is there any bets you want to toss out before we wrap things up? Anything else in your kitty? Maybe you're thinking of firing on. You're close. What else? Any other bets?
My last one I would say is Billy Horschel top 40 at plus 110.
Ooh, okay.
I said I like to go to the top 40 market and get near or around even money. 20th ranked golfer in the world for what it's worth. He's made 5 straight cuts at Augusta. I'm not going to say how many of those were in the top 40 because there's not too many of them, but
he is threading the needle of making the cut and not getting top 40, which is really kind of impressive in some ways.
It is. But the one thing that stuck out to me, T4 last time at Valspar, and everything across the board was clicking for him. I mean, off the tee approach, around the green, putting. So the kind of form that I'm looking for heading in. And Billy, you just got to finish top 40, get my money back.
Dom, also, I know you're a Vikings fan. Where are we at with the Vikings? Are they just going to start JJ McCarthy? Any draft thoughts? Give us your minute update as a Vikings fan.
I am very impressed with what they were able to do in free agency, but when they kept signing everyone, my friends were texting me every signing, and I'm like, when you can't draft anyone, you have to pay someone, and they're paying all their free agents. So Kwesi has already paid everyone that Rick Spielman drafted. Now the next draft class is already on different rosters, so they have all this money to toy with. But to the quarterback situation, I was getting convinced it was going to be Rodgers for a brief second. It would have been fun. But I think as a realistic expectation and like moving forward, I'm very excited and ready to see JJ McCarthy. I'm still not sure what they're doing at the backup quarterback spot here. I mean, they have Brett Ripon as the only other quarterback on the roster. I don't assume they're going to draft a guy to be the backup off the bat. I mean, you're looking at probably Joe Flacco at this point, which is fine.
Carson Wentz.
They're missing Dan Jones already.
They are. I did think he was going to come back, but not for more than 10 mil. There was no way.
Yeah, Colts really got desperate out there. Really quick, one more.
Oh, you got rid of that dead weight, Sam Darnold.
Sean, one more on the card.
Yeah,
Bryson to win in a playoff, 100-1.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm at.
I love
you told me I wasn't having fun.
Well, you have some super conservative.
So now I got a fun one.
Bobby Mack, 60-1 to win the Masters. Ship it. See, now we can just clip that out if that actually somehow happens.
Yep.
Dom, great debut on the Sports Gambling Podcast. Make sure you check him out on X at DomCinto_11. And of course, over on the Golf Gambling Podcast. Thanks for hopping on, Dom. And as of course, get in on the Splash contest, splashsports.com/SGPN. Links on the website as well. And yeah, we got more Master stuff coming up, more NFL draft. You guys know how we do it.
Matt and Dom also cover all the other golf tournaments that we completely ignore.
Yeah. Great point. If you want to bet golf besides just the Masters, and again, we're green jacket guys. We just show up for the big events. But Dom and Matt got you covered for those, so check those out. And as of course,
thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, stacking the money green. He's Ryan.
You think the pimento cheese would stick to the pizza peel?
Kramer, let it ride.